was brought up in a Catholic family. Unfortunately, the Bible was more of a coaster and paperweight in our house than it was to be read. Growing up the way that I did, my view of God was somewhat distant. My father was a very critical man. I think I replaced God somewhat with a version of my father, and that I assumed God was very critical. When I went to college, one of my best friends, she became a born-again Christian. She invited me to start coming to the church that she went to, where I really began to see God through the teachings in the Bible. I knew that that's what had been missing in my life, was really knowing Him through His Word. That's what led me into being baptized as an adult and really understanding how to bring Jesus into my heart. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and a good friend of mine told me about Church of the Apostles. She said that I was going to love Church of the Apostles because Dr. Youssef was very protective of God's Word and that the truth was what the church was based on. Along my faith journey, God replaced bitterness with joy. He also showed me how He works. In 1 year, I managed to lose my mother to kidney failure, and 3 weeks later, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Within 1 year, my father also passed. So I had 3 major events in my life, but God taught me to see Him through all of this and what I can really be thankful for. With my mother, I felt that He blessed me to tell her that Jesus was waiting for her and that she could go to Him. My father, when he was in hospice, his last words were actually to me, and he said, "I love you." When I was diagnosed with cancer, I did not panic. God gave me peace, and He said, "Laurie, we're going to make this count for something." I was actually able to share Jesus more boldly than I ever had before. The pure, holy, true God who has no blemish. My cancer returned in July 2013. This time, still being stage 4, of course, it changed its location and it went through my spine. When that happens, the prognosis from earthly doctors somewhat changes. They tell me that my timeline is only 2 to 5 years, but I know my timeline is God's. One of the other blessings I think God has given me was a revelation what it means to live with Him. Every day now, I know a lot of people get diagnoses that may seem frightening, especially if they are worded as terminal. But what I've found out is that every day is a choice. We're all going to have struggles, we're all going to have trials, and we're all terminal. None of us will make it out of this world alive. I'm grateful for each day that God gives me. One thing I've noticed, He has never failed me. He is always there when I need Him. He will always come through, and He is the same God yesterday, today, and tomorrow. My verse was Hebrews 10:23. In that He tells us, "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess, for He who promised is faithful."